Love all my names.
All right.
Yeah.
No, thank you, Elvis.
Yeah.
Molf.
What is a mind?
Uh, Arguably the greatest movie ever made is The Matrix by the Wachowskis.
You think so?
I believe so.
Okay.
The Matrix has got a lot of metaphoric meanings for how the world was and how it is today. Speaking about human beings and the machines and living in a matrix. And it's not the only one. There have been other movies and documentaries and discussions around. Now, if you look at the Matrix just as a concept, because I'm using the Matrix and I want to go back to your question about the mind. And you look at where the world is today with technology and the computer era and the cell phone and the internet and Wi-Fi. The mind to me is software. Your body is hardware.
Okay.
Yeah. So arguably both our bodies and our minds are not chosen. Your body is a collaboration of your parents and your grandparents and those that came before. You didn't choose to look the way you look.
100%.
Yeah. So your parents came together. They decided to collaborate on a project. That project was you. And then you were born and you took on a template that you didn't choose. You can modify it in various ways. You can gym, you can exercise. If you're fat, you can lose weight. If you're naturally fat, maybe your family is naturally big, you can lose weight, or you can gain weight if you're naturally thin. And then the day you decide to collaborate on a project with a woman, you can choose someone that maybe has the type of hardware, physical, that you maybe hope your children will have. Maybe you like a taller woman. Maybe you like a lighter skinned woman. Maybe you like a woman who's bigger. You're like, I want my kids to have a different template. So the software is something similar, where your parents gave you a mind that is not your own. So imagine your body being a cell phone, and your parents gave you an operating system, and it is preloaded with things that come from the past. Now, those ones come later on in life with consciousness, and I'll speak about them later, that they are preloaded applications, apps, in that software that you're not aware of that are operating in the background. But from birth, the world you are born into shoves a lot of apps, downloads a lot of apps onto your software. That's what we call the name. So now you're going to be called Elvis. Your software is going to be called Elvis, and your hardware as well. And then you're going to learn a language.
Okay.
Xitsonga, isiZulu, whatever. You didn't choose that. It's when you go on a cell phone, they're like, choose language. You didn't choose that. It was chosen for you by your parents.
Yeah.
And then from there, you choose belief system. Again, based on your environment. So your forced download, no, Tina, we pasha here. No, we go to church. No, we go to the mosque. Again, not chosen. And then you keep moving. And then at school, they put in a lot of work in forcing you to download. What are your dreams for life? I want to have a big house. I want to have a nice car. You didn't choose that.
Yeah.
You didn't, at the age of 2 years old, magically be like, I want to. That is stuff that is conditioned through programming.
Yeah.
And then you encounter the world, and every now and then you obviously meet people who challenge that. Why don't you have a house? Everyone wants a house. You're like, oh no, I got the same app as you, but I deleted it. I don't want a house anymore. Why aren't you married? Everyone wants to get married. You're like, yeah, look, I also got the same app. Or where I come from, we've got a different app. We've got a polygamy app. So where I come from, ubaba benesithembu, and therefore marriage for me is something different than you. Virginity, sex, etc. So the mind is this software. And I want to go back to that point that I left at the beginning. The way your mind processes all of this programming from birth has a lot to do with the preloaded apps from your ancestors.
Okay.
What does this mean? This means I get 90% at school. The other kids are getting 60%. Why? What do you do? Like, nothing. I don't know.
Effortless.
Why do you just remember stuff? I don't know. Why do you just like reading? Why do you want to create a podcast that is educational? Everyone's doing gossip. What is it about? Because we all come from the same place, same kasi, same. Why are you different? That's where you realize there are preloaded apps from your ancestors. They manifest through dreams. So you'll have dreams and you're like, hey, I had these weird. It's like, oh, it's because your parents, grandparents had these experiences and now they are playing in your mind.
Okay.
It happens through deja vu, where you're like, I think I've been here before. And it happens through decision making. You get to a space, everyone is seeing Hans and Habli and drinks, and you're like, I don't know, I'm grand. Why not? You're like, I don't know. I don't think this is for me.
Oh.
You're like, everyone's doing it. It's cool. All the hot chicks are like, do this thing. And your software is, for whatever weird reason,
Yeah.
rejecting that thing. That is preloaded because you didn't learn that at school. You didn't learn that in the streets. That is unique to you.
Yeah.
And again, you can work on these things. So when we speak about the mind, we're speaking about software. And when I speak in Penuelism about owning your mind, I am talking, number one, of acknowledging what I'm talking about, of saying I have this computer system inside me that is like a cell phone
Okay.
that had preloaded apps and that the world has constantly been programming.
Yeah.
And now that I acknowledge it, Penuel is saying, go through the apps, delete the apps that don't make sense, that don't serve you, and load apps that make sense. You grew up in a Christian household. You are happy. You guys go to church. Your mom tithes. And now that you acknowledge this own your mind thing, you're like, I've been studying Muslims. I've been studying Buddhists. And I'd like to delete the Christianity app. I know I grew up with it and my mom loves it and sonke kaya siyatandaza, but I actually want to follow Prophet Muhammad's teachings or Buddha's teachings.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you can't do that. That's wrong. That's your... And you're like, no, it's not. It is just an app. Because my great-grandparents did not have the Christianity app. They had a different app that worked for them. And this Christianity app, for me, doesn't work because I don't want to tithe. Or because the Christians I'm around talk about no sex before marriage, but they're having sex. Whereas my Muslim friends, they are not having sex before marriage. And I think this makes more sense to me. The